for an amazing experience. My name is Toya Lillard. I am the Executive Director of viBe Theater Experience. We are humbled and proud to have worked with your daughter, your student, granddaughter, niece, over the past 6 weeks in viBe Leadership Institute. viBe Theater Experience exists to provide a platform for girls and young women of color to come together in a safer space to create original theater, music, and other forms of art about the real life issues that affect them most. We guide girls through an experience of creating an artistic response to the world around them. viBe was founded in 2002 by Dana Edel and Chandra Thomas. Dana Edel happens to also have co-directed this show with myself and co-directed the program viBe Leadership Institute since its inception. And Dana is right here in the back. Let's give her a round of applause. So 15 years ago, this organization was founded off of a summer project with a group of 8 girls. And it's funny that 15 years later, we embarked upon a similar project with a group of 12 girls at the beginning, some of whom did not finish the program with us, but it's typical that that happens. It's summer. But we do have 7 participants who finished the entire program. Our time together was spent thinking about, talking about, and demonstrating what leadership, activism, feminism, intersectionality, and a host of other terms mean to us, and what they mean in our lives. We interrogated these terms, and we thought about how they did or did not include women who look like us. We interrogated the ways that girls are discouraged from leading. We interrogated what a leader even is. And together, these young women bravely identified for them what you need to hear. So you are very fortunate to be bearing witness to this show, What is Unseen Must Be Heard. It is all about the ways that girls and young women of color need to be listened to and given opportunities to lead. So I encourage you, I beg of you to listen deeply. This show is full of humor, irony, shade, and it is full of talent and hope and recommendations for you about the everyday ways that you can improve the lives of the young women that you see before you. I want to thank the staff of viBe Theater Experience. Everyone on our small staff works so hard to produce everything that we do. I want to particularly thank Amaya Biradavlu, who's outside. I want to thank, there she is. Hey, Amaya! I want to thank our teaching artists. I want to thank our interns for this program, particularly Claire Talbot, who is on sound tonight. I want to honor and lift up Shania Jackman, who was our summer intern, but who could not be here today, who also contributed to this show. She lives in this show, you will see. But Shania is off to college, and she could not be here with us tonight because she is preparing to leave literally within days. Shania has been a part of viBe all throughout her high school career, and we are just so proud of her. And she's really the embodiment of what we mean when we talk about leadership, activism, and not being afraid to amplify your voice. I want to thank our funders. I want to thank, in particular, Novo Foundation, the Department of Cultural Affairs. I want to thank the Harmon Family Foundation. I'd also like to thank the New York State Council of the Arts, Councilmember Lori Combo, who we met today at lunch. We ran into her, but she was already supporting this work. And you. I want to thank you for trusting us us with your daughters, for trusting us with your folk, for trusting us in this process. We went on field trips, as you all, many of you know. We kept your daughters out late at night, but it was all for a worthy cause, which you will see now. After the show, we will have a talk back. Every vibe performance is followed by a talk back because we believe it's important for you to engage with our young artists and to ask questions of them and for them to give you recommendations about how you can get your life. So without further ado, it's my great pleasure to present to you What is Unseen Must Be Heard, written and performed by the young women that you will see who are a part of viBe Leadership Institute 2018. One last thing, our work in viBe is intentionally uncensored. So you will hear some language that may shock you. You may hear your daughter say some things that maybe you don't allow her to say in the house. Our work is necessarily uncensored because we know that girls and young women of color are policed in virtually every aspect of their lives. They are policed on the streets. They are policed at home. They are especially policed in school. They are told what to think, what to wear, how to be, how to stand, how to breathe. So in order for us to work with this important demographic, we must create safer spaces that are also untethered. We must create safer spaces that are also untethered to give our young women the opportunity and the platform to express themselves, as we say, how it is. So you're going to hear some things that may surprise you, but keep listening and listen deeply because you're all going to learn so much. Thank you.
Have you ever been arrested?
Is your mother or father white?
Can I touch your hair? What's the highest education you have?
You don't look completely black. Are you jealous of white girls? I have a thing for black girls.
I don't date black girls.
Do you live with both parents?
Is your father in your life?
Why are you always angry? I love your hair. How many kids do you have?
Is this your real hair? Do you live in the projects? You must be vegan.
You're so articulate. How are you paying? Your skin color is perfect, not too dark.
How often do you wash your hair?
Why are you so loud?
This is a call to all black girls who feel as though they have to achieve great things in life in order to disprove the stereotype that they are nothing. What do you have next period?
Hopefully you're broad.
What's wrong with my boobs?
That never spoken out.
They're like this. They're like this. They're like this. Okay.
Your mom lets you walk out the house like that?
There's nothing there. Of course mom lets me walk out the house like this.
Well, okay.
As long as you and your mom are okay with it, I mean, just watch out for Mrs. S.
Excuse me, where are you going?
To gym?
You barely have any clothing on.
What do you mean? See, 5th period. Later in the year. With all due respect, Mrs. Philbogle, there's nothing wrong with what I have on. I'm wearing a shirt and pants. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but we have these things called breasts. And yours are fully exposed. All I'm missing is my bra. Exactly, that's what you're missing. So why don't you stroll on into my office so that we can call someone to give you the appropriate clothing. Such a decision isn't tolerated. When I was in middle school, school officials loved to express the fact that this school is a uniform school. What does uniform show anyways? That we're all treated the same? That the school is good? One day I came to school with 2 religions on. And I wore them to school before. They were black and I washed them over and over, which caused them to get light. The principal told me that my pants were blue and that I couldn't go to class unless I had a parent bring me up the right pair.
Everyone is different, so it really shouldn't matter whether or not you wear a uniform. Uniform does not change how we were raised, our genetics, or where we come from. Just because I'm from a low-class area doesn't mean I'm ghetto, and uniform doesn't automatically make me civilized neither.
In order to go to class, you had to have on uniform. Even though you didn't have the exact uniform, but you had the right colors, it was still considered a crime. What if we can't afford uniforms? People have bills to pay, clothes to buy, and mouths to feed. And that's already expensive enough. Well, I understand that uniform is expensive. It is required by the school board that all children must come to school wearing the appropriate uniform. Imagine in my day and age, so long ago, that I came to school without wearing a bra. Oh, it's distracting to boys.
Maybe you should teach boys not to sexualize my body. Women's bodies aren't meant to be sexualized, and you, as a woman, should know this. The boys probably aren't even paying attention to my chest, so now you're just assuming that boys will be boys, which isn't fair.
Uniform is just a way to hide the truth. And the truth is that our leaders don't trust us and just don't have faith in us.
I'm not in the wrong, and this is my choice. No wrong.
Our bodies are not meant to be sexualized, and overly priced uniforms does not make us civilized, disciplined, or college ready.
How do you like your coffee? Black, like my men. I love my black boys. Love the way my black boys' skin matches with the midnight sky and their white teeth shines like stars. See, my black boys are great. My black boy's skin looks so fucking attractive, sexy, fantastic. Yo, especially when it's glistening in the sun, when the smell of Vaseline, cocoa butter, and cologne attacks my nostrils and ultimately reminds me of a refreshing dip of chocolate. They use their skin like the shiniest shield ever made to hide their emotions, their fears, their worries. My black boys are scared. My black men are scared. Even my black babies are scared. And it ponders onto me every day as to why they're scared, but their fears shake me up in my sleep to remind me to breathe. Eric Gardner, that I must have my hands up, move them away from my pockets, reaching for this imaginative but totally real gun I have, Samuel Du Bois, that I must not have my hoodie on, Skittles in hand, Arizona in the other, because I totally look suspicious. Trayvon Martin. I cannot challenge these men dressed in the clothes of protection that could and would be bleached into the stigmatizing white cloak of the night. The cloak that branched off into disgusting forms of supremacy in the darkest shade of blue. I am scared.
Straight.
Hell, my black women are scared. You know, and that bugs me too. Black people, why is there such a gender and sexuality selectiveness when it comes to caring for our dying community? A difference in reaction, one might say. Like when a black sister dies, there is no commentary. The community falls silent and hardly makes a noise like the sound of a gun going off and killing someone you love dead. However, when a black brother dies, a riot just occurs. The community is awakened from their deep slumber. What happened, sleeping beauties?
Right.
The community is angry. The community is lashing out, disregarding the cost, and are automatically willing to put their lives on the line. Why is that? That happens with the LGBT community. We need a reason to unite. Being black should be a reason to unite. Not by who in my life. These men in cloaks are killing us. So it really shouldn't matter who's fucking who or what fucking gang you belong to. My people need some guidance. They need to use Black Lives Matter and how being black is a unity tool and a weapon itself.
Excuse me, do you need something?
I'm sorry, but it just...
Is it real?
Oh, not this again.
Yes, it's all natural.
Lying ass. It's probably those Malaysian or Brazilian tracks. It's one of those.
Listen. I know that you know that I know you're lying. Now, no one's gonna be mad at you, especially not me. But, you know, it's what's expected of you.
Your hair would look so pretty and long if it were just straight.
I even heard that heat damage helps your hair because it makes it easier to straighten again after a wash.
She knows what she's talking about.
I guess.
No, you don't guess. This is ignorance.
But don't you be wasting time and money to force your hair to go against how it's naturally made to be worn?
No.
Did you see how they reacted to the real me? Do you think this is the first time? Yeah, according to them, it's not racist because this isn't real. Stop acting like children. Is any of it real? Can I touch it? Oh my gosh. Ah, beautiful. Act like human beings with common sense of what personal space means.
I'm not here to place blame on any group or person. This isn't a matter of picking and choosing whose fault the situation is, really. What's the situation, you may ask? To put it into simple terms, it's about the detrimental mindset of black and brown women and how society doesn't seem to pay attention at all, or even care for these girls and women. At times I find myself thinking about how girls and women can have it worse than me. I never see this like the way my family is with me, overly protective and only let me out the house if they always know the person I'm with. It highly limits my chances of ever going out, anywhere. I always knew this, but I really considered how unfair everything we were thinking really was for them. How unfair people have to worry about their daughters, even going to the corner store with the fear of them being raped or kidnapped. Mothers walk and constantly feeling anxiety when their daughters aren't within their sights. Does that seem fair? These men spend all their time worrying, walking in fear their entire life, and still have to care for their children and themselves because they're afraid some man could be out there waiting for their daughter. Girls that didn't complain about not being let out their houses like me because they prefer to stay inside. They prefer to lock themselves in and phone chase, shutting themselves behind their own windows, their homes, themselves, just to avoid anyone seeing her or her seeing anyone. Girls that tremble at the thought of being home alone. Girls that rather stay home instead of wanting to go to the grocery store to get the week's worth of food because she'd rather starve herself than step outside and see what happens. Girls that lose sleep because they're constantly waking up to go shots at a marker of who shot her brother and having nightmares of what man did to her sister. Does this seem fair to you? That the only life she's living is out of fear? That she seems... Does it seem fair that her community isn't giving her even the smallest shuttle that she won't breathe or take it? Can the world look out for black and brown mothers and tell her, just comfort her, tell her, your little girl won't be in bad hands and that she'll be safe going out? Why is it that everyone seems to agree with this statement, but aren't doing anything as well? Everyone wants to make a change, but no one is really doing much. They're just saying, yeah, you're right, but you're not showing me this. I bet you're doing the same right now. Think about it.
white person. And now there's a fucking cafe on the next block serving crepes and shit.
Word.
What even is a crepe? Dude, I don't fucking know.
Yo, you know, they just opened up an art gallery on our block.
Yo, and how many fucking coffee shops do they need? Like, go to a place that's a fucking coffee shop.
Exactly, go to Manhattan, there's a Starbucks on every corner.
Exactly, and then they're boycotting Starbucks because, like, it's not fancy enough.
What's this?
It's a letter from the landlord. Should we open it?
Let's see if Mom's on.
Mom!
Why are you yelling in my house?
There's a letter on the door, it's from the landlord. Here.
It says they're raising rent by $500, and we have 2 weeks to pay them back unless we're considered trespassing.
Yo, how are you gonna pay that?
Don't worry, I got it.
Well then, can I go in the backyard? Cause like the boys have me out on the corner and you're gonna free and you know I gotta have some me time. So.
Yeah, you have your me time. Take your sister with you.
Fine.
How am I going to afford this? I mean, I'm thankful for all the gentrification happening because, I mean, it makes the neighborhood so much safer. But now they're just replacing all of the good stores, cheap good stores, with these new fancy restaurants. And it's affecting my rent. I can't even buy my kids another school shirt because that's another $100. I'm broke. And I mean, maybe I could get another job. I could probably work some more shifts. But then who's gonna take care of my kids? I barely see them as of now, and their father works late nights. So how is this going to work out? Maybe we might have to move back to our old neighborhood. I mean, the crime rate there has increased significantly, but what other choice do we have? I just can't afford this fucking apartment anymore.
Stop touching my hair. What are you, fucking two? You see something a little bit different and you're like, ooh, it's shiny. Stop saying that we're all one race, the human race. Don't forget that race is something made up by your ancestors to justify owning people. And stop saying that just because you're 132nd Native American Cherokee Indian princess, that you don't benefit from white privilege. It's white privilege. White, because you're white. Privilege, because you're privileged. It's in the fucking name. Dear white men, I don't want to hear about how your cousin Roderick went backpacking through the slums of Africa, and he totally understands the black struggle, so you must get it too. Dear white men, I don't want to hear about the time you fucked a black girl, and you had a totally mind-changing experience. Dear white teachers, stop saying that I speak so well, and I write so well, and I speak so articulate, and I carry myself so highly. How the fuck else am I supposed to walk, talk, write, or act? Dear white women, just because we both listen to Beyonce doesn't mean that we're the same. You have privilege and I don't. It's a little barrier right there. Dear white people, stop saying that you don't see race. I don't fucking believe you. I see race, Becky sees race, even you in the audience see race. God, I see how you have no lips, and you see me as a shooting target. We see race. We all see race. God damn. Learn how to use your white privilege for the benefit of others. Learn how to create spaces the same way as they have been made for you. God, learn how to shut the fuck up for 1 minute and let somebody else share their experience. Say, hey, I care about this, I'm white. I care about the fact that black people are getting shot in the streets every day for doing nothing. And say, well, I've never experienced that. I live on the Upper East Side. My name's Chad. And say, maybe my experience doesn't pertain to this. Take a step back and let somebody else share their experiences. Because you don't have all the answers. Stop white-splaining to me about race and how black people should do this and black people should do that. And if a black person just kept their hands out of their fucking pockets, they wouldn't have gotten shot. Learn. Take the initiative and learn. Do the research for yourself and learn. It's not that hard. Look at the statistics. There are more black men in jail now than there have ever been. And yes, you can go ahead and do your Adderall and your opioids. We're still in jail for weed. Okay? No one gives a fuck about your fucking Adderall, Brian. Learn. All you have to do is learn. Signed, a very black woman. What does it mean to be a girl like you?
I feel icky or naked when I wear short skirts or dresses because where I'm from, clothes define who I am. And if I'm wearing something that causes eyes to pop and mouths to drop, then I'm a whore and I'm obviously asking for men to approach me so that they can get nasty, and when I tell them to fuck off, they see me as a slut. Even if I wore something baggy, they see me as a piece of ass with no future.
Being an African American girl in Brooklyn, New York means a secretary, a nurse, or a teacher was my destiny. At the doctor's office, all my nurses were female, but my doctor was male. There was a lack of encouragement from the neighbors for girls to be just as ambitious and successful as boys. And even if we were successful, say lawyers or engineers, we were always the boss's wife.
A girl like me has to pretend to be on the phone, walking all alone, trying to ignore the group of guys trying to talk to me. A girl like me.
To be a girl like me means to not let others' opinions about my body dictate my actions.
A girl like me.
If I'm wearing anything that causes eyes to pop and mouths to drop, then I'm obviously a whore and asking for it.
A girl like me.
My life has to be a fairy tale. I have to already be a success in my career with my own house. Then that special someone would get down on one knee and ask me to be their bride. I would wait till marriage and do the most cliche thing in the world. Lose it or not a wedding night. Yes, men can wait too. And when we do, it'll be the most exciting night of our lives. I just hope I can actually live to see the most exciting night of my life, because with every blink of an eye, someone is getting shot or killed, and I can't sleep most nights because I'm scared for my life. So all of you sitting in the audience here tonight, do me a favor. Because ladies, petty arguments do not make you the boss. And men, just because you have on the newest fit and a bunch of girls in your DMs does not mean you made it in life. Honestly, this world needs a reality check. Here's my ghetto story.
doing a spotlight piece, I thought of it in the literal sense of the word. It reminded me of when I was doing the school play and we had to go to the theater 2 weeks before the show to do light check. Because, we were a cast of dark kids in a dark theater, we had to be seen. To be honest, that day I left with a headache, all the bright lights in my face. But it paid off the day of the show because we were seen. That same day, we also did mic check to make sure we were heard. But what if no one cared if we were seen or heard? That's what feminism is about. Achieving equality of the sexes through the establishment of women's rights. However, it feels like black women can't be a part of this movement. See, as a young black teen, I feel pressured to go against the stereotype of the ghetto black girl that achieves nothing but having more kids than she can take care of. It's either that or become this figure for the black community. Spend my days in an endless battle against an enemy unconquerable, at least not in this lifetime. Feminism is about achieving equality of the sexes. But what about equality of the races, even with the same gender? See, as a kid, I was never one who picked up the slang of the hood. But the kids in my block did. They call me white girl because I carried myself in a respectful manner, as if only white girls can have civility. And when I yell back, that's not my name, or leave me alone, they will say, oh, she can fight, because fighting must be the only way I know how to express myself. Like the monologue I'm doing right now is just not enough. White women are called empowered and role models when they speak out. But black women are woke, or sassy. It's just not fair. I have to act white in order to speak my mind.
You see, for teachers
Pushed out,
to realize,
forgotten, abandoned, deserted,
Insignificant.
Disenfranchised. Tragic.
Pushed out.
Pushed out.
Pushed out.
Pushed out.
Pushed out.
Pushed out. Pushed out. Pushed out.
Pushed out.
Being pushed out is a form of abuse that goes unnoticed on a daily basis. People can't seem to find it critical to not push anyone out or away. Women are no exception. Even if they're not understood or cared for, you should still fight for them and be by their side no matter what. We black and brown girls are constantly judged by the color of our skin when rather we should have that choice. Who has the choice to take who we are and what we want to be away from us? Just let us show who we want to be in life, who we are. If you don't care about us, we're eventually not going to care about ourselves.
To me, being pushed out means no longer feel worthy of being in the environment. Everything that you do will never be enough because of who you are. I was pushed out when I wasn't allowed in the school talent show because I wasn't good enough. But if I wasn't good enough at what I thought was my talent, I must not be good at anything.
you see, for teachers fail to realize is that in this school, we are growing up way faster than other kids, and that sometimes they need to cut us some slack. My school has to realize we aren't as mature and capable of self-control as they might think. When we feel as if things are done our way or things are done to us unfairly, we must speak our minds. But don't punish us for having a voice and trying to stand up for ourselves. As I can recall, you guys are the one that taught us to do so. Remember when I had a negative reaction? That was because I had cramps. Cramps. The last time I had cramps, the teacher told me I had to persevere through the pain. Persevere through the fucking pain. Are you dead ass? The pain is like a wrestler punching me in my guts. And I can't take any more pills or I end up in the hospital. Please, understand. You have all control your reactions. Now thank you, but I won't be attending detention tomorrow for being in pain. Go ahead, call my mom. She'll tell you the same thing. Don't even try to punish me because you don't like my mom's response. But what you don't get is you're not my mom, nor my dad. So stop trying to treat me as you would treat your child. And
Is this even going to work?
I want freedom, but I don't want to fight.
With everything going on, I have something to fight for.
I think I'm doing enough.
I love activism.
I want equality for all.
Hundreds of years without a voice, yet some people think slavery was a choice. Then when we're finally released, they create codes that'll send us right back to where they think we belong. They have guns. Do you really think some march is going to make this right? Some of us don't even know how to put up a fight. One wrong move and they start lighting up. They know how to send us straight to our graves.
I know struggle, I know pain. I know what it's like to not have a choice in what you do in life. I may not be physically locked up, but I'm stuck. Stuck with the same issues that impacted my ancestors and now my children. As they grow up, they will be stuck into the same pain and struggle that I'm going through. They will inherit the struggle, but must they inherit this gloom? There's protest on the rise. There's hope. Is there hope? Can my freedom really be achieved? And if so, do I have to fight? Who will be there to take care of my children?
But I also have reasons to not fight, to not put myself in danger. We need more activists, but if we all die, how will our children know how to continue this fight?
I think I'm doing enough. I went to the other protest that other day, and I gave them some money, and I was there. But I'm tired, and my presence doesn't really matter anyway. There, I'm not gonna change anything if I go. So can I? I'm just gonna stay today. I'll put my blood, sweat, and tears. I promise you, and I'll support from home. I'm tired.
I love activism. I am at every march, every parade, every meeting. I went to the Women's March twice. Come on, twice. I love it, but every time I make a post on Instagram or, God forbid, Facebook, I'm not 40, but it takes so much out of me. All the time that I spend organizing and making these dope-ass posters, they're really dope. And everything that I do can be used to build a relationship. Every argument that I get into with the dickwad online can be used to start building relationships with other people. I'm young. I can only do this once. Am I really gonna spend this entire time fighting? Don't get me wrong. I know that I need to be there because every person matters, but give me some time, man. Give me some fucking time.
I want equality for all. I want everyone to have the same opportunities and not be judged on the way they look, their gender, the color of their skin, or their financial situation. The way we live now, Black men are taught that there's no way they're gonna get out of the hood unless they play ball or do music. And Black women are taught that it's better to have your nails done, hair done, everything did, than have your work done. But white boys and girls are taught that if you just work hard and put your mind to it, you can achieve anything. But when a Black person hears that, they know it's not true. Because achieving what you want in the world is not about working hard or being determined. It's frankly just about knowing the right people or being born into the right family, in some cases at least. And that's why Black and people of color have this label on them, lazy. 400 years struggling, and we're still victims of the system that ripped us away from our homes, forced us to work, and we're still the lazy ones. So, just goes to show that change takes time. Lots of time. You know, you just gotta stand up, speak out, and be the change you want to see in the world.
We need you to.
Wait, hold on.
Should
You
we?
wanna stop talking?
I'm done talking.
Yeah, you wanna bring them on.
Bring these bitches up.
Bring them on.
We need you to come together. Don't divide us with a wall. I mean, seriously.
We need you to accept every last one of us for our skin tone and ethnicity so we can feel like we belong just as much as you and everyone else.
We need you to endure through all of the hard times. I know that it feels like you're going through it alone, but you're not. Continue to find stress-relieving activities because I know this helps me. I know what you're going through is a lot, but I know you're strong and I know you can get through it.
We need you too. We need the girls who are proving themselves worthy enough to know who they are. We need the girls who don't have to be billionaires to show that they are independent and amazing.
What is a leader?
What is a leader?
What the fuck is a leader? What's a leader? What? What's a leader?
What's a leader?
What is a leader? Thoughtful, manipulative, selfish, greedy,
Having people's back.
Sympathetic oriented.
goal-oriented,
Has persistence.
Selfless.
Barack Obama, Martin Luther,
Chocolate.
Queen Elizabeth.
Trump.
Trump.
Okay, he's not a good one.
Okay, yes. Listen. Let's not burn her at the stake. I mean, I want to, but not all leaders are, or in this case, are good. You guys need to realize that your actions, your decisions, you guys are the power. You affect the next generation. When we lead,
When the
Oh,
world
world
sees
sees
us as leaders, they say, you're doing too much.
you're bossy. Are you on your period?
We're not seen as leaders.
We get shut down real quick.
But when we lead, it looks like resilience, strength, optimism, confidence, mindfulness. And when we lead, it looks like Yara Shahidi, Tina Sumter, Beyonce.
Chloe and Halle.
And when we lead, it looks like Anais, Twilight,
Unique.
Leo,
Anaya. Angie.
Let's give them one more round of applause. So, y'all, 6 weeks. I don't know if any of you have created a show in 6 weeks. It's not easy. And we started off, Dana and I, sort of being like, we don't even have to do a show. It's only a 6-week program. Let's take the pressure off. Let's just do a little diddly-do. And they said, no, we don't do diddly-do. We came to do a show.
And isn't that what we do with vibes? We make theater. So very quickly, they decided that they did want to create a show and make some theater around the themes that you heard tonight. Every word was written by the young woman who performed. We want to honor Shania Jackman and her writing and contribution. We also want to honor Orquídea, who started with us in the program and contributed to sort of building the show and the themes of the show. So this is the time for the talk back. This is our opportunity to talk to our young artists, for you to give them feedback, for you to ask them questions, but more importantly for us together to think of ways that we can, right now, today, make changes in our life that will improve the quality of their lives. So let's get it. Questions.
Y'all got some questions? Some questions? Raise your hand.
They've got some answers. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
By parents.
Yes. So I'm a mom of Twilight, who's sitting next to Anna. So I just want to thank all the other actors on the stage. I don't know your names, but you were all really phenomenal. Really good work. So anyone who wants to answer, and multiple people can answer, just walk us through a little bit the creative process. You know, how you guys sort of came up with the themes, and then I think you all individually wrote your own dialogue that you performed, but just, you know, whoever wants to speak, just kind of walk us through the process.
Okay, so, well, the first rehearsal was really actually, because, you know, like the first day of school, you don't really have anything done. Like, as soon as we got here from the jump, it was, you know, what do you want your writing to be about? We were given prompts and things to really motivate us to write. And then around what we wrote in those prompts, like it could be like, what's a hero to you? Or like, share a personal story of your choice. We formed the show around that, around what we wrote in the prompts, and it was really personal to us. I missed like the first 2 weeks, but when I came back, the writing was already done, and we had like a full script. We were starting to do blocking, we were starting to memorize. It really happened really fast, and what's great is that it's original. Like we really poured our heart and soul into this project, and it was great.
We also, in addition to our time together, talking and writing, we created opportunities to see theater. I cannot underscore enough the importance of, for folk who are making theater, to see theater. It's super duper important, not just because it gets you in the mindset, but because you're inspired by ideas. So they went to see I wasn't even there, they went to see the show at Soho Rep, which is a very not diverse institution. And they were just throwing these free tickets, and I was like, oh, okay, already. The show, Fairview, which is a hit, it's been extended twice. They're like, please, we need you, please, 15, 20, how many tickets do you want? Wow, okay, very aggressive. And it turned out they had this interesting experience where there was audience interaction. I'll just make a long story short. You can ask them about it later at dinner or whatever. It was a very unique experience. Well, I mean, when you go away with your people. I already said you! But they, based upon that experience, there were ideas generated about involving the audience. And so as you saw this part in the play, that was inspired by our scene theater. We also had the opportunity to see a play that was a part of the Corkscrew Theater Festival that was written by one of our staff members, JT. Shout out to JT and Desarrollo, because that was an amazing show as well that gave them, again, inspiration and confidence to represent themselves and be represented on stage. Anybody else want to talk about the process? It wasn't all gravy and easy, was it?
It wasn't.
No, come on, Monique. Speak upon it.
For me, like the hardest part was memorizing it, because when I wrote it like 3 weeks before we had to be off book, and so we were basically reading it off the script while we were blocking everything and making sure everything flows. And then all of a sudden we had a weekend to memorize everything. And so that was like the hardest part for me, because I came back on Tuesday and I didn't know a thing. And I was coming line like a lot of times, and so then it had to be an overnight type of thing. So I think that was the hardest part for me, because even though I wrote it, and it's like, you know you wrote this, you should know it, but you forgot it within the 3 weeks that you wrote it from. And so for me, like memorization was like the hardest part.
Shout out to Claire, because Claire was on.
Yeah, yo, Claire was making edits in the Google Drive.
Yeah.
She awesome.
Like until this morning.
Until this morning too.
And after this morning, and again for the older folk in the room, super important to engage young people when you're working on behalf of young people. See, I can't be in charge of every. I don't know what Claire does, so I really don't. She's there. She does. It looks good. I trust Claire.
I love her.
So yeah, you gotta engage. If you want young people to lead, you gotta let young people lead and trust them and engage them and step back. Yeah.
The hardest part for me was like just having to cope with everything. Like it's already settled because I was in Atlanta with Toya for another show with viBe, and I come back and everything is already in place, and I'm just like, so I had no contribute to how we were setting this thing up, but then like I just had to go with it, and that was like the hardest part for me up until like right before the show.
Yeah, like I was gone basically for the whole writing process, so I came back and I didn't really have any lines or anything. I was like, I'm not going to be in the show if I don't have no lines. But they gave me the opportunity to write my own stuff, and by the time I had written my own stuff, we had to be off book, and I was just like, oh my god, how am I going to do all this at once? And like even today, like I improvised like a shit ton of my lines. They gave you the space to write your own shit, but like I literally had to be off book like the day after I gave Claire my like final spotlight, and I was just like, oh my god, this is too much. But like even after you've been off book, they give you time to like call line. But like for the last couple of days, we weren't able to call line, so we were just struggling. Today was the last day to call line.
Yeah. Also, I think the hardest part for me is like the speed that everything moved. Like since we only had 6 a week, it was like the way the writing process was really accelerated. So in the maybe second or third week, as soon as we came in, we had to have our spotlight basis. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, ooh. So like we just kind of had to really keep up. And then I was gone for a week because I was on vacation. So when I came back, it was like, oh, I had to memorize everything. But as you guys can see, we had a great show despite all the craziness and the speed and everything.
So okay, I don't like how y'all take credit for everything. What happened to us?
Of course, the beautiful Aaron. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
No.
Thank you for
Yes,
When you guys come home, what question can I ask? I have 50 questions that I have to ask, and I'm at 6 or 17. What else? Because I can hear some of what I give, but I'm not getting no credit. What's up?
Yeah, so like.
And I know y'all went to your mothers. Don't tell me that y'all to ask certain stuff. So what
I think there's a call in the audience for some parental acknowledgement. Is that what you're saying?
I love my mama and daddy. Thank you for.
up here.
Nah.
Did y'all go to your parents' last night?
So the question in the beginning, I literally had like 6 questions down, and I went to my mom, and I was just like, so what are some more questions? What are some things that certain people said to you that made you feel uncomfortable? And that's where it came from. So thank you, mommy. I love you.
To all the moms. I want to shout out not just the caregivers and the parents, the teachers. I want to shout out the teachers. I want to shout out the folk who connect our girls to us. In this room, you are deeply and greatly appreciated, and it is because of your deep belief in our work in this organization that we are connected to these wonderfully talented young women. I'm talking to you, I'm talking to y'all. It's really, thank you. Yes. We do a residency. We actually, 2 of the schools that our girls attend, Brooklyn High School for the Arts and Achievement First University Prep. Every year we do the residency, and then in addition to the residency, the girls come for the after school. So we're in places where girls really want a platform. They have a lot to say, a lot. Some of these girls up here have been in the program in their school, and then come after school, and then they're like, what's next? When's the next program? What are we doing? So we're deeply appreciative of our school partners and our community partners because you help connect us with girls who have a lot to say in the world. Other questions, feedback? Yes.
Oh my God. I want to say two things and then I have a question. So first of all, I'm also a theater person and memorizing is the hardest thing for me, absolutely 100%. And I don't really do theater that much anymore. I do music. My own songs that I've written, I still don't know the words to my own songs. I'm on stage, I'm like, la 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 la, and then, so I'm totally failing on that. And also, I really appreciate the Dear White People speech, because I looked around and realized that one of the very few white people in the room.
I was trying not to make eye contact with you.
I know Sticky, but she probably is trying really hard not to look.
No, Dana was going to be a white plant in the back and you didn't come. We had it worked out. We were like, okay.
I felt in that moment like I wish there were more white people here to hear that speech. So I really appreciated that a lot. So thank you so much for that, Sharon. Where's Brian and Chad?
One of the many improvised lines.
My question for anyone who wants to answer it is, was there anything, you all had a lot of really heavy, deep material, which was so important to be spoken and heard. Was there anything that you felt afraid to say?
I can start. My spotlight piece there was actually a lot more than that, but I felt like really uncomfortable with the detail that I had wrote down on the paper that I literally just threw it to the side and just wrote like a very simplified version that wasn't so detailed. Because who wants to hear me there was a part where I would speak about how scared I am, because there's someone getting shot. Literally, this kid was shot 2 blocks down from where I live, and I literally stayed up for days, and I didn't go to sleep. I would wake my mom up in the morning so that she can go to work because I didn't sleep all night. And then I would come to practice literally like this, crying and having a mini panic attack because I just couldn't sleep and I'm scared. I think every minute that something bad is gonna happen to me when I walk out of here. So, I didn't want to write that down. I didn't want to say it out loud to remind myself of that. And I also didn't want to talk about my actual dream for my life.
Yeah, and because the kid, I never saw his mom, but to me they all called me mom. So I used to always give him, money for him to eat. So they grew up together. In fact, that kid at one point, they was at the park and some other kid tried to call her bitch. And he was the one that really stood up for my kids and said, you don't know her, why are you calling her this name? And it really hurt, to know that I know the kid and interact, and he was somebody that if he see you coming down the block and you have groceries, you don't have to ask him. If he comes in front of any elderly person, come by the gate and see me to clean, he will do it. And he don't ask you for anything. You don't have to give him anything for him to help you. And it's sad. I'm happy I'm here because our black kid is not even living past 16 no more. Because the day before was his birthday. So technically he was still 15 to me. So past 16 I was a mother that had a 17-year-old son and my 23-year-old, he's in the army. And every day I'm like, oh my God, thank you. But the 17-year-old, I'm still afraid
Something bad is going to happen.
it's going to happen. And I think that's what Angeline is trying to, saying, okay, that could have been my brother.
And that's exactly why, my answer to your question is no. I was never scared or nervous or had anxiety around anything that I was going to say because the things that I was going to say needed to be heard.
right? There's not enough people, and I was definitely taught this at home, like from the jump. Like, if there's something that you feel that's needed to be said, love your dad. If there's something that you feel that's needed to be said, you need to say it. You need to speak up for yourself. You need to speak up for you need to tell people when the shit that they're doing is wrong. You need to tell people that that's wrong, and that these black kids aren't living past 16, they're not living past 12. They aren't living. Because we're taught that, or people are taught that black kids, they're gangsters, right? They don't deserve the same rights as other kids. And I'm here to be like, no, like that's fucking, I don't want my childhood ripped away from me. Nobody should deserve to have their childhood ripped away from me, from them. And if there's something that can be done, if there's some person that can say what you're doing is wrong, if there's something that people can say that you can feel, that you can tell them that they can change and you're saving their life, then do it. Like, I've never been nervous to speak my mind. And I make white people mad every day. I go to the whitest school on earth. Let me tell you something. This kid tried to get me expelled because I told him that he can't do that. I called him out on his shit. And that's what you have to do. That's what everyone has to do. If there's something that's happening that's making you uncomfortable, something that's happening that you know isn't right, you have to say something. And that's just what I've been taught. That's what my mom teaches me.
I want to also acknowledge, though, thank you for that. Want to also acknowledge that we speak up where and when we can. Want to also name and claim that there are folk here today who are not always able to do that.
That's true. Yeah.
Want to also acknowledge, just going back to Angie for a second, that through her constant fear, not sleeping, not eating, she showed up. Now, sometimes she showed up, she wasn't in the best mood. Today. Real talk.
Why?
But she showed up. No, for real, Mom.
You know why?
It was heavy for a minute. But Angie traveled to Atlanta, Georgia. We went to Atlanta, Georgia for 3 days in the midst of her not sleeping, not eating, not wanting to leave the house to even do laundry. She trusted me and us enough to get on a plane and go to Atlanta and perform. Was it easy? No. Did we have a lot of drama? Yeah. Yeah. But she showed up. And so I want to also name and claim and acknowledge that in dealing with all of the daily issues that these young women have named, that we also want to make space and time for them to work through their anxiety, their traumas, their memories, their rememories, and the way that they show up. Sometimes they don't show up the way we expect them to show up. But I beg of each of you, honor that they show up. Yes.
I wanted to say something about to go back to Anai. Honestly, like your spotlight piece, it was kind of wonky before, but today.
Yo, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And it's like shade. No, I'm just so much like here.
Shit. I'm sorry. No, continue.
True. I just want to say, like, I'm proud of you today because I was listening to it and you popped off. Okay? I heard you went so off. Like, right. I was just sitting there like, preach, girl. Like, backstage. We were so excited for you. Like, you popped off. Like, you said what you needed to say. I was like, I'm
Kini goes to different plays and shows, especially the one with mostly African Americans and minorities, because like I go to a specialist high school, Brooklyn Latin, and it's supposed to be the most diverse one out of all the specialized high schools. And it's like some days you don't even feel it, because like we have a dance team, but like sometimes they just look like they're moving sticks. When wow, when I went to the dance team at my sister's school, it was like they had so much passion. It's like they wanted to express themselves, and like that's what I like about these type of shows. That's why I love coming here and then seeing these different performances, because like they really keep me aware, and it's like they keep me proud of being Black. Because sometimes I'm in school and it's like I am the one Black kid in this class. Well, like this one time, the teacher accidentally did this, but like she actually put all the Black kids in one table.
Yo!
It was more of like we all picked the same piece to do, but then we were just all standing there like, why are we doing that? Wow! You start to feel different. Or like, this is my last day of work, but I worked in Manhattan, so we're there in the Manhattan Bridge and stuff. So then I was walking down the street, and then I just seen a whole bunch of white people. So like I just started counting the Black people. It was like 2, 3, and then the white people are like 20, 50 maybe. Like I just like it when I come here, and then I finally see that I know that I am a minority, but that doesn't mean that I can't be unique on my own. Like I am myself, and I should be more confident of being myself, and I'm definitely going to continue doing that.
All right.
We basically picked camo because it was kind of based on the dress code scene, because you know in the military everyone has to be the same, and it kind of tied into like, I don't know if y'all know that, but in the dress code scene we were marching around, and that's basically to say that like when you're dressed the same, you're viewed the same. So you know you don't have that individuality that you do when you can dress freely. Right. I'm gonna shut up.
I kind of want to respond to your point, actually. I feel like you, in a certain way, you do feel like weird when you're surrounded by all these white people and you're the only like colored person there. But I feel like it's important that they're there because of times like this when we have things to say and then they don't show up, and then we're like, we didn't really get the chance to tell you anything. And so I feel like it's important that we're mixed together, because I feel like a lot of times we feel uncomfortable when we're alone like that. But like, you just want to be with your own people, but I feel like that's what's wrong. Like, we can't just be with our own people, because nothing's going to change if it's like that. If we're just staying together and they're just staying by themselves, what's going to change? Like, if you're angry at them, then you're not going to get the chance to say anything to them because you're within your own people. So I feel like it's important that we're all together, and maybe there's more of them than us, but I feel like it's still important because they need to know who you are, who these people are, who colored people are, and like just breaking down that stereotype of us being like self-centered or dangerous or anything, lazy. Like, we need to show them who we really are instead of just being judged. We just need to be mixed together so they know.
I feel like, it's important to stick together, but also to network at the same time. That's really important.
Nice. Also, to back to the question where you said about wearing the all camo, we didn't really discuss this, but I kind of like put 2 and 2 together. The whole play was based on activism and how we're all activists in our own way in kind of everyday situations, you know, with microaggressions in our hair and everything like that. And wearing the camo symbolizes that we're soldiers, and Black women and women of color are always going around fighting to be heard, fighting to be listened to, fighting to be ourselves. So, you know, it just basically symbolizes the soldiers that we are when no one really notices it.
Damn.
Yes.
Next word.
Yes, Amelia. To expand on that, I was curious how your definitions of leadership and activism have been shaped by each other and throughout the course of the program.
I mean, I definitely learned how to work with people, work with more people, and I feel like that's what activism is. Activism isn't always yourself being the leader, the center of attention, but it's learning how other people make them rise up, working with other people. I don't always work well with people, or people who have different views or opinions with me, you know, but like, I learned how to like understand other people's opinions and understand where other people are coming from and understand other people's opinions, and that's what activism is. It's not only being right, but it's learning from other people's experiences as well as your own, and that's what this program taught me to do.
It's like take a step back and listen to what other people have to say instead of just being like, oh, I want to say this, I want to say
Did you just
that.
quote me?
Yes, Claire.
Oh, well, I just want to say to that point, I learned so much from these girls. I thought, I was doing an theater internship this summer. I was like, okay, I'm going to go and learn how to teach these kids. No, okay, I didn't think that. But then, I learned so much from them, especially about how being a leader means being vulnerable and being honest, because I was so impressed. I have truly never seen the kind of honesty and the power in the speeches that everything you wrote through this process, everything you put on stage. I did miss a sound cue, and that's because I was crying. Because
Oh my God.
Because really, like, I just have to say, like, these girls are the leaders of our future. Like, truly, you guys all saw that, but just watching them create this, it taught me that being a woman of color, like, I still have a voice and I deserve to have a place in society. That's what I learned from them, to your point.
And just to interject there, this is the reason why we exist, period, is to make that point, is to say that they don't need to wait any longer at all to identify themselves as artists, to identify themselves as leaders, and to also gently and lovingly let us know the ways that we're letting them down. Lovingly and gently let us know the ways that we're letting them down. And that's the hardest part. When you listen to young people deeply, and you have to, you uncover the ways that you need to change, not them. You uncover the ways that you are fucking up.
I was.
And I just want to encourage us all to, again, like, we're videotaping it, it's going to be online, watch it again. I learned so much about sisterhood, about real sisterhood, about showing up for each other, even when the other person ain't ready to show up for you. We checked in with each other every day. I had an experience today just in preparing for this show with microaggressions and mansplaining and whitesplaining, and I had to draw on the lessons that they taught me to keep me cool, and that's for real. They have so much to teach us all. And I just think that if there's one thing that you can do is advocate for listening more deeply to young people, to the young people in your life, instead of asking them what's wrong with you, what happened. Ask them what happened, and they'll let you know what's happening to them. Yeah.
Well, I can say I can relate to Angie because my work schedule was really hectic, and for a while, like I was missing out of her life. So that's why she was crying, and because she always knows that I'm there. So I was like, okay, I have to work in this because I'm not there at all. It's like I go to work, they're in school, and I come back home, they're in bed. I'm sleeping while they're leaving. That wasn't right. So I was really fucking up there. And I'm very sorry, but I changed my work schedule. So I came straight from work here. Are you proud of me, Mom?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's why you see the smile on her face and everything, because there's a change.
Thank you.
So.
More questions? Angie wants us to move on. Yes.
I just want, this is just a comment about the leadership thing. I think my favorite moment was when you named yourself as leaders and stood up on the chairs. That was very powerful. That sort of the tears came to my eyes.
Okay, so when we were going all over like draft number 1 and we were going over the leadership scheme, I saw Trump and my eyes were like,
We were like, oh.
I was like, so when they were explaining it to me and I was like, Trump, Hitler, what the fuck, no! And then I didn't see Anais's line after I said Trump. It was like not all leaders are good, or like, and I was like, oh, so that makes sense. But then I was still confused because I had the word Trump. I didn't want Trump. I wanted someone else. I had Hitler. I hate Trump. And I was like, why do I get to have Trump? I want someone else.
Right.
And I was so upset, but then I was like, you know what, this is
made it
actually
fun.
It's fun. I was like, Trump. And then they looked at me like, Trump. I was like, yeah, Trump. Yeah.
I want to talk to that. When we were for the qualities of a leader, when we were brainstorming it, at first we started off with good qualities, like, you know, you have to be smart, you have to be confident, and then we led to like the bad qualities of a leader. When you have to be greedy or you're vain, well, you don't have to be, but you could be greedy or vain. And so it kind of, at first when we started like going with the bad qualities, I was like, wait, but this isn't a leader.
And then it transitioned to
Yeah, but then I realized it was part of being a leader. Because the thing about being a leader is that if you're confident, sometimes it could be vain. And so it's kind of like being a leader, you have to have both those things. You have to have ambition, but it can't come off as greed. And so it was kind of like, including the bad parts about it, also made it more, I think it made it more confusing to me, because I was like, so how do I lead exactly if I have to do both? But then eventually it kind of became a thing where it's like, okay, you gotta be a little bit of both. You can't be straight up just mean or just too nice, because then you let people slide. Then you don't do things like this when you call out people, you just let it slide. And so, you know,
I believe it was Machiavelli who said, like, it's better to be feared than loved. And, I mean, people might not be seen as good leaders, but, like, I feel like leaders, people follow them. So, in ways, Trump is a good leader and he's a bad leader, and in ways, Hitler's a good leader because he's very influential, and he's a bad leader because of what he did.
Yeah, we really had to take a hard, cold look at our leaders, the people who have been identified as leaders and named as leaders, and that we learn about in school and history. You know, what is a leader, and what have we been socialized to think a leader is, and what picture comes into our head. And so they taught us that, like, yo, I'm out here trying to lead. You told me to lead, I'm out here trying to lead, but then you told me I had an attitude, and you told me I was talking too much, and you told me to be quiet. I was trying to lead.
Ain't that some shit?
Ain't that some shit?
So they were the whole summer talking to us about the ways that they have attempted to lead and have been shut down. So we quickly got to the idea of, like, when they lead, it's like all gravy. If a man comes in with authority and starts telling people what to do, we say he's strong, he's confident, he's a leader. If a black girl comes in, it's like, oh, wait a minute, what's with the attitude?
Yeah.
Panties in a bunch.
Yeah, yo, why you on your period?
Yeah.
What's wrong, mamas?
What's wrong, little mama?
Why you so loud?
Why you so loud? Questions.
Other questions?
What would you do if you have a good writing piece, right? And one of your theater teacher is Caucasian, and you went with this piece to him. You know it's really good. And he told you that, what would you do?
Say it anyway.
I'd do it anyway.
I'd be like, first I'd ask him why. That's the number one thing, is to not always go with your first instinct, which mine is to fight, obviously, verbally. I'm a little wimpy. But my first thing is to ask him why. It's not a valid reason. If I make some edits, is it okay? Right? Is it okay if I edit this? Not change the meaning of the piece, but edit the things that he thinks need to be edited. If there are things that he thinks need to be edited that I think are integral to the piece, I'll say, hey, it's not gonna happen. But if I think the reason why he's turning me down is racist, you gotta go above him. You have to go to the person in power who holds the power and say, this teacher won't let me say this piece because it's about race or something, whatever the piece is about.
Angie?
I definitely agree with Anais. I would, Anais, I said it right. Honestly, if I had a Caucasian teacher that turned down my work, I would definitely ask them why. And if it was for a racist reason, I would definitely take in all of the reasons that they said. Add that in, make the piece even more spicier than what it was before, and do it.
Spicier. Or even make the racist edits and then perform the original one.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the type of person that's passive aggressive. So it's like, if you tell me I can't say it, I'll be like, okay, I can't say it. Then you know what? It's not you going up with the stage, okay? You're giving me the mic. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm just tell you, no, I'm going to say, I'm going to edit it out. Then I'm going to go on stage and I'm going to say what I want to say. That's just how I am. I feel like you don't need to go against that person directly, but you just let them know, like, I'm above you. Like, you may be getting paid, but I'm above you because I have the mic.
Like what you're doing, and you could look them in the eye. At that certain point, just be like, well, I'm saying
So that we call that speaking truth to power. And these young women are experts at it. They do it every day, not because they wake up on a Wednesday and just say, I could go to the movies, but I'm going to speak truth to power, but because they have to. They have to. I want to thank you all again for coming and for giving us such wonderful feedback. I want to also invite you to support the organization in a number of ways. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, viBe Theater, VIBE THEATER. You can also spread the word about the organization on those social media platforms. You can, if you're like, that is not enough, I need to support pop. You can bring us to your school, your community. We are everywhere. We perform shows, full-length shows, everywhere for everyone. We'll come to your school, we'll come to your community center, we'll come to your grandma's basement. We love to perform. We have a whole company, 6 programs, and a company of folk that are just there to perform. The third way that you can support viBe, and this is a super deep and impactful investment, is through a donation. And by donation, we mean no donation is too small. We are at the end of our fiscal year and at the end of a 12K in 12 weeks campaign that supported our trip to Atlanta. We have a residency at Rikers Island that we have been conducting for the past 6 weeks. We've been very, very, very busy serving many girls in many areas, and our goal is to raise 12K by August 31st. And no donation is too small. So I know you're like, wow, how do I do it? How do I do it? I'm just sitting right here. Well, Amaya is in the back, and she's an expert at taking donations. So, an expert. Amaya is an expert. So if you wish to support viBe in that way, you may see Amaya. We have brochures available with all of our programming and also a rate sheet in the back for our paid performances. So I invite you to take a brochure, learn more about our programs, and support us in all the ways that you can. We will begin recruiting for our fall programming. I cannot believe I'm saying this because I want to go on vacation. We'll begin recruiting for our fall programming somewhere around September 15th, and we'll begin our fall viBe Stages program in October. So again, thank you so much. We exist really for you and for them, and for you to bear witness to the wisdom that they have to offer us as adults. I hope that you take time to listen to the young people in your lives and identify those small, everyday ways that we can make life a lot easier for them. Thank y'all.